I'm Jennifer Lewis, and I've been the CEO of Texarkana Resources for nearly 8 years now. And during the course of the opportunity that I've had to lead this wonderful organization, we have grown so much. We've renovated a building, so we have a fully ADA compliant kitchen to give the individuals we serve more hands on cooking training. Just this year, we constructed a 5,000 square foot building, and we've been able to increase the number of individuals we serve by over 20% already over the last few years because we now have this space to do it. We're working on implementing a more comprehensive exercise program, and our supported employment program um, has really grown, which is our program to help individuals with disabilities get jobs out in the community, which is really important because community employment leads to financial independence, which leads to more autonomy over one's own life. You know, I've been a disability advocate for over 15 years, and because it's Developmental Disability Awareness Month, I thought it was a really good opportunity to come and talk about some of like the stereotypes and misconceptions that people with disabilities face, and how the community could partner with Texarkana Resources to kind of end the stigma, um, and give people with disabilities the same opportunities as you and I to live out their lives in the most independent and self-sufficient way, which is our mission, letting them have like autonomy over themselves. I think one of the most damaging misconceptions society could make among the developmental disability population is to assume that like they're all the same, or that they all have the same mental capacity or wants or desires, just as you wouldn't want to do that for any other group of people, right, that maybe have one thing similar about themselves. The same is true for the developmental disability population. I mean, these are all their own people with their own stories and backgrounds and faith and likes and desires. Um, some play on basketball teams and some don't. Some play in dart tournaments and some cycle. Some work in the community and some would rather not work at all. Um, some have relationships and some want relationships but don't have it. I think the one thing that you could say is true of the developmental disability population for everyone is that they have a need for human connection. And I think you could say that about any person, whether or not they have a disability. And I think it's important to remember that when you're talking about people with developmental disabilities, that they are not all the same. And many of them have the capacity to speak for themselves. And one of the most important things we could do is not to let them have a voice, but to hear the voice they already have, to listen, and then to give them the opportunity to um, meet whatever that need is that they're expressing.
My name is Ryan Cameron. My disability is cerebral palsy, and I've been living with it since birth. And I work at Texarkana Resources for the Disabled. A common misconception I feel is that a lot of people, when they hear the term disability, they automatically assume that on the higher end scale where people are not, where we're not as high, I'm not as high functioning, and they think, more hands on, and that we can't be as independent as possible and things like that, which is not every form of, like with cerebral palsy, there's not every form has a hands-on need and constant supervision and things where I am independent and fully functional, and I have my own apartment. I've been living independently for 20 years. I'm the same of people with or without disabilities. I would say I have a lot more in common than a lot of other people would think. That they would see me and look at me they wouldn't think that I had a disability unless it was just my physical disability. And then they ask me what it is, and they're like, "You're functional. You don't have." They wouldn't think I would have one, but just by looking. I would say this, that I am as loving and caring and energetic as possible. I'm probably one of the best focuses on someone with disabilities, and I just love being myself and enjoying life at 40, going on 41. So, it's been crazy, but I just enjoyed the being more independent and safe from everybody. It's one of the safest places we've been. So
it wasn't too long ago in our history that people with developmental disabilities, they weren't even allowed to live on their own. They were forced to live in institutions where they were treated as one, where they all went to the same place to eat, or they even shared clothes. If you go and research Willowbrook, they had to use communal showers, treated completely inhuman. They weren't allowed to vote. They weren't allowed to marry. They weren't allowed to work in the community. They weren't allowed to choose which house of religion that they wanted to go to worship in. They weren't allowed to choose anything over their life. And we have come so far. And Texarkana Resources for the Disabled prides itself in looking at each person as the individual that they are and respecting each person as the individual that they are. And if they have the capacity legally, emotionally, to make their own rights and choices, we want to respect that, because we've come too far to take a step back. And it is not our place, nor anyone else's, to project our personal beliefs onto someone that we don't know their story. We don't know where they came from or what they've been through. So many of the individuals that we serve have come to us after being exploited or abused or facing homelessness. They've came to us after being discharged from other disability providers because they were too difficult to handle. But they're successful with us because we hear them and we meet them where they are, and we don't judge them, and we support them. And those are hard things to do sometimes. To have the hard conversations, to maybe not personally agree, but have to step back and say, but that is not my job. I don't know better because I don't have a disability and you do. You know better. You know better for your own life. No one knows what's best for you except for you. But historically, people don't want to believe that when it comes to the adult population of people with developmental disabilities. Most of the time, we have some individuals that have wonderfully supportive parents, and I couldn't be more thankful. But the majority of the people we serve, they don't have that. And we are fortunate enough to be in a position where we could be that. And we want to continue to be that. And we want the Texarkana community to see that and to support the individuals that we support by knowing the good works we do, and for not stigmatizing or stereotyping individuals with developmental disabilities, but honoring their rights and choices, seeing them as fully human with all the same emotions that we have, and conflict and struggles and joys, and giving them the opportunity to live the best life they could live.
What's your favorite part of coming to Texarkana Resources?
They helped me grow. They taught me a lot of different things that I didn't know. And then I got to the point they wanted me to go out there to the community, and I started cleaning up buildings, business offices, and I was on the maintenance side at the business office.
How does it make you feel when you get done working here at Texarkana Resources?
It made me feel good because they grow me a lot. I've been here working for a long time.
What do you think, if it wasn't for Texarkana Resources, what do you think you'd be doing?
Basically, see, I get disability, and like I probably won't work. I wouldn't probably get no job like this out there in the free world. This helps me more, and I can get paid every 2 weeks and still keep my disability too. So I really like this right here, and I really appreciate them helping me.
So, if you're in this community and you want to be an ally to individuals with developmental disabilities, for adults with developmental disabilities, um, we encourage you to support us. There's so many ways. We have educational speakers that come in monthly, several. We do our best to educate the individuals we serve by giving them the best opportunity for informed choice. If there's a topic that you feel like you could, share wisdom in, or you have that education, we would love to have you come in and do that. We have people come in and teach cooking classes. We have people come in and teach exercise classes. There's a lot of opportunities for volunteerism. We are currently selling raffle tickets for an opportunity it's called Cuisine for a Cause. Jeff Loving has been so gracious enough to donate a private dinner for 4 with 5 courses and alcoholic drinks. The tickets are $25. That money is going to support our programs. There are over 22 people that come to our program that have zero funding. We serve them for free because there's no other place available right now in our community to serve these individuals. And we need support to continue doing that in our vocational training program. But yeah, go on our website, texarkanaresources.org. Call our phone number 870-774-9675 and be a part of the solution.